Now, for one of my secret weapons is sage. And I add about a tablespoon or two because I love the flavor of sage. And sage is so doggone healthy for you.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness, sage. You have an upset stomach, a headache, or you feeling sick and weepy, you just boil some water, steep some sage in it.
Wow.
And baby, boom. It's so great for a sick tummy. The American Indians use sage in clearing bad energy in the air. They burn sage.
Oh yeah, I did know about that.
It's a purifier.
I didn't know that.
Just I'm adding black pepper to my dish.
Oh.
Inside of my bowl, I will place my cornbread, which has been baked and crumbed, because I'm making a cornbread stuffing. I'm just using a little of this African pepper, which you can use cayenne because it's really difficult to get this type of pepper unless you go to your ethnic markets. Like I always say, you know, support your small grocer. These ethnic markets have specialty items that large chain grocery stores don't carry, and if they carry it, believe you me, it's not fresh. You know? I'm going to place this trinity, which is onion, celery, and green pepper, some sage, salt, pepper, and red pepper, and olive oil. I'm going to stir this and blend this together. And you need to add the hot water, or you could use vegetable stock if you want. And if you want to cheat, you can use chicken stock. So, water's great, especially if you seasoned it well, which I really season my vegetables extremely well. So the flavor is there. And you know what I'm going to use? Don't tell anybody. I'm just going to use a little butter. Now you could have melted this with inside the vegetables at the last minute of your vegetables. But this is so hot right now. The butter is just evaporating. And as you stir this in, more hot water, maybe about, I boiled 6 cups. I may use 3 to 4. I don't like it too soggy. I like my stuffing to have some consistency to the cornbread, so I don't use a lot of water. Now this is a real kitchen, we're real food, we're real pots and pans, so you know, we don't have a staff in the back. A lot of times you'll see things just thrown all over the counter. But this is cooking at home. Cooking for your friends and family, for yourself.
Sweet potatoes are done. We've got the walnuts on top.
That looks beautiful. I like that.
Yeah.
You want to grate a little nutmeg on top as we finish?
The last finishing touch.
This is beautiful. We're going to heat this in the oven again. So it's going to cook, you know, just to a warming temperature. And nutmeg on top. We finish with this. And if you want, you could add a little vinegar to this. I mean, if you want, you could add a little vanilla extract to that if you wanted to. But that's more like a pie. Now, this has been about 25 minutes. I have about a few more, like 10 or 15 to go. You could cover that and actually put this in here. The macaroni and cheese is looking fabulous. I'm lowering my rack so we can warm up our sweet potatoes. But let's check on our macaroni and cheese, and it's looking absolutely scrumptious. Mac and cheese is doing great. It has a few more minutes. Let's just throw that in there. That's pretty much cooked already, you know. So
all right.
Now this pan I have been sauteing my vegetables in, so it's seasoned. There's no reason to wash this at this point. So, you know, I just did my Trinity in that. I'm going to transfer the cast iron. I'm going to transfer my stuffing from the bowl to the cast iron for it to just bake a short while into the oven. Pretty much everything is cooked. It's just warming and, you know, cooking a little
Now,
further.
are there eggs in here?
No eggs. No, this is a non-dairy. Well, it wasn't until somehow the butter jumped out of my hand into this pan. And I just take that in there and just kind of mash it down there, in there. I take this out and I just mash it into my pan. You make like a little casserole, you know, stuff in. Then we're going to make a gravy. Let's get some rice on.
Now, since we don't have like giblets and stuff like that to make gravy, how do we?
Good question. Well, we're going to make a caked up gravy without giblets. We're going to use mushrooms. And I'm going to use some white caps. I saw some white caps in the store. You can use cremini.
Cremini, and porcini,
shiitake,
portobello. So many.
I just used a really nice white button, cheap.
Well, yeah, whatever,
mushroom.
You know, like I guess like the
Those, I
porcini
do
or
cook
something
with those.
Gives you a more meatier flavor, but I love mushrooms.
I'm going to smash that and mold that.
So now this goes into the oven?
Yeah, just pop that in the oven.
Is it going to get a crust or?
It's going to get a crust, and I'm just going to add a little water for around the edge. It'll seep down. Just a tiny bit.
But that'll keep it nice and moist too, though, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the cabbage is all ready to go. So we're going to use some olive oil.
This is one head of cabbage, right?
2 heads.
2 heads.
2 little pea heads.
Which will cook down into nothing.
That's right.
Into like 2 servings.
Exactly. For my cabbage, I have olive oil.
Do you mix your butter with olive oil in this?
I'm going to put butter on it. A little
All
butter.
right.
That's right, yeah. Going to use some onions, and we're going to use some peppers. Our stuffing is in the oven with our macaroni and cheese and our sweet potatoes, and they're just warming at this point. I'm going to turn my oven down to like 350. From 450 to 350. Now I'm going to show you the secret ingredient for the black-eyed peas. Don't share this. Really not that big of a deal. But people really do go crazy over my black-eyed peas. I add cream. The last 15 minutes of cooking. This is a very small 8-ounce bottle of heavy whipping cream. But you're not eating the whole pot, so you're only eating a little bit, so it's really not that fattening. But who cares about fattening? We're talking flavor.
Those beautiful colors again.
Again.
Yeah.
Great colors.
So how did you figure out your secret ingredient to your black-eyed peas?
I was just trying my way through the darkness of steamed vegetables of being a vegetarian, and I said it's got to be a better way. So as it evolved. Sometimes I'll use coconut milk with my black-eyed peas. So since I'm not off of dairy, I'll use dairy in place of flavor and in place of meat, like creams and butters and that sort of stuff, and cheese when needed. But you can use soy products. They have substitutes of soy cheese and soy milk and rice milk and almond milk. So you can use substitutes of these sort of things, but I stay with the dairy because it's delicious.
Yeah, it seems like such an interesting ingredient to put in black-eyed peas.
As I'm adding this, as you know, cabbage is mostly water. So once the heat hits it, it starts to decrease in size. So you just keep adding as you go along and stirring it. And allow the steam to do its own thing. So I'm just putting this lid over my pan here and wait for it to decrease. I turn the fire down so it's not too out of control. Next we're going to start a roux, which I'm going to use another cast iron pan. But for the moment now, let's just let this reduce. And as I get this cooking and all that in the pot, I can move that to the back of the stove. And I'll bring out another cast iron and I will begin our gravy. As you can see, this cabbage has expelled so much of its own natural water. So that's why I don't like to add water. Maybe just a little to get it started, but it makes so much liquid. And that liquid is just delicious. It's like a broth. To this I have added olive oil. I sauteed green onions, scallions, and regular onions. If you just want to do one type of onion, please by all means do that. I added sweet bell pepper, red and green. And then I added, and that was all sauteed in extra virgin olive oil. And then at the end, I just add a scoop of butter for flavor. And this is pretty much...
How much is the soup?
Huh?
Just how much is a scoop?
A scoop? About 2 tablespoons.
Oh, okay.
Of butter. Here are my black-eyed peas.
Wow, look at that. All creamy looking.
Look at those creamy, delicious black-eyed peas. They are very, very good. Trust me.
Oh,
we have our basmati rice, and let's take a look at our macaroni and cheese is ready.
That looks
Come
so
out of there.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Where are you gonna put it?
I'm just turning off the oven. Let me see if I can just leave it in here for right now. And that created a crust. That looks delicious.
How much longer does the cabbage need to cook?
The cabbage is pretty much done, but you know, I like it cooked a little bit more. This food that we are preparing is soul food. It's so important in our custom.
Yeah.
Because on Sundays, that's when the family would come together, because everyone was always working during the weekday. But Sunday would always come together, and you have grandma and your aunties and cousins, everybody in the kitchen cooking soul food. It is a labor of love.
Well,
my back is killing me.
Well, it's one of the ways that I learned how to cook. You know, there would be everybody would be in the kitchen, and
That's right.
My sister and I, we would help, or you know, if we weren't doing anything, we'd watch. And that was our cooking class.
But they always had us doing something, because there was always potatoes to be peeled.
Oh, well, you know.
Some needed to be chopped. Dishes need to be washed.
My sister and I learned to cook at a very early age. We were always doing something in the kitchen. So we were very comfortable around pots and pans. And stuff.
Now, we're going to just get the gravy going. And this is really an easy thing. I use first a little olive oil to cut down on using so much butter. Reduce this heat. The beans are done. I have the lids off because I like it to kind of like escape the liquid in the beans. So the beans are done. The rice, how are you doing with your rice?
It's just in the steaming stage right now, in the last little stages of cooking, so it's almost there.
Okay. Well, I'm making a roux here, so I have my melted butter in my olive oil. Sauteing my onions, my gravy. I'm going to use some parsley in my roux, my gravy.